Vamos lá. Uma série da Midi 2. Vamos.
And across the far northeast of Scotland, but where you got the sunshine, you also got the drama. Look at this beautiful afternoon, albeit quite briefly.
Pronto, chegamos agora da Midi 2 do cinema.
We could be further patchy mist and fog first thing in the morning. We'll keep some drizzle going along the Kent coast.
Você suda.
Far northeast of Scotland. Generally temperatures staying around 5 to 9 degrees, but if we get some breaks in the clouds, we might see temperatures a bit lower. Into tomorrow, another messy start. A weakening weather front producing some drizzly rain perhaps along that North Sea. Further west, with a slight subtle change in wind direction, we might get a bit more sunshine and maybe a bit more warmth with 17 degrees in the southwest. That great heat is going to stay with us until the weekend. High pressure is gradually shift its way eastwards. We're going to see this weather front pushing in from the west, increasingly wet and windy during the day on Saturday. But it is going to take its time. So on the whole, again we'll be chasing cloud amounts around. The winds strengthening, rain into Northern Ireland by the end of the day on Saturday. So all in all, not a bad day on Saturday, 13 to 15 degrees, but then turning increasingly wet and windy for all of us as we move into Sunday and Monday. So a real change to the weather story as we move through the second half of the weekend. So after that cloudy and quiet start, it's some wet and windy weather.
Thank you very much. And that's it from us on the BBC News at 6. Now the news where you are. Goodbye. Thank you, Sophie. Coming up on tonight's Look East. Victory for residents who fought a £250 million plan to demolish and rebuild their housing estate. Also tonight, a hospice funding row heats up with an NHS boss condemning what he says is an aggressive campaign.
We're at the £6 million dream home at the centre of a planning nightmare.
And we meet the front and staff here at the Royal and Dungate preparing to tread the board in their very own show.
Rio. Vai pra tristeza, hein? Salzinho. Está o salzinho.
First tonight, victory for a local community. Residents in Norfolk who've been protesting about plans to knock down hundreds of homes on their estate have tonight heard that the scheme will not go ahead. The £250 million redevelopment would have seen nearly half the properties on the Abbey estate in Thetford demolished and rebuilt, with a further 500 homes added. Developers say it would modernise the area and bring long-term benefits. Local people were worried it would tear their community apart and made their voices heard at the council meeting this afternoon. Our reporter Robbie West was there. Let's go to the
Well, Susie, within the last hour, the Council Planning Commission voted to refuse the plan. Now take a little look at this. This was the moment that local residents found out.
Para! Fica quieto! Para com essa! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1!
A lot of very happy faces there. And today I've been to the Abbey estate and I've seen one of the homes that would have been demolished under the plan.
From family Christmases full of laughter to watching her grandchildren crawl for the first time, Fiona says that she has made a lot of happy memories in this home.
Ho, ho, ho! Brought my children up here, we have had some loads of time.
She's devastated that soon this house that she's lived in for the past 20 years could be demolished to make way for a car park for a new housing estate.
To think that these people can come along and take my house off me, this upsets me greatly because it's full of memories. This is my home, this is where I brought my children up, and it is a real sad state of affairs that people can come in, potentially come in and compulsorily purchase my house. But for under me, makes me feel angry that people can come in and decide that this is the fate of this estate and they don't know anything about us.
Built in the late 60s, there are over 1,000 homes on the Abbey estate in Thetford. Housing provider Flagship, who already own over 60% of the properties, wants to demolish and rebuild almost half and add another 500 more homes to the area. Speaking at the council meeting in support of the £250 million development, the team behind the project said it would bring long-term improvements to the area.
Community centre and existing businesses in purpose-built, energy-efficient new buildings, along with opportunities for new facilities, will bring further social and economic benefits to the community.
But some local residents made their objections clear.
You yourselves have received this petition sent in by myself, showing that most people want to keep it. But flagship is still on market now.
And for the remaining 536 households to live on a building site for 20 years.
The local roads are too much, the additional traffic is too much, the residents are against this, please. Displaced and utterly destroyed community.
Today's vote on the future of the Abbey estate wasn't about the finer details of the design, it was about the principles of moving forward with the proposal. A decision that will shape the future of this community forever.
We're just starting to get some reaction coming in a statement from Flagship. They are disappointed. The Chief Operating Officer, David Armstrong, said that we will take time to understand this decision and consider the next steps. Now, some of the people leaving tonight, this is what they have to tell me. They said, this is amazing. One said, this is incredible. One said, I'm ecstatic. Fiona, who you saw in my film, said, this must be the same feeling you get when you win the lottery. It's a lot of really happy people this evening. But one thing that everyone believes here tonight is this could be just round one of a longer fight.
Robbie, thank you very much. Now, the future of a controversial £6 million mansion won in a charity raffle has finally been settled. The property at Blakeney in Norfolk is a star prize offered by Omaze, but for the past 7 months it's been at the centre of a planning dispute. Several recent additions, including a swimming pool, tennis court, garage and summer house, were found to be built without permission. Since March, the new owner has been unable to take possession, while the local council conducted a thorough review. Today, a conclusion was reached. Andrew Turner has it.
The dream house on the North Norfolk coast quickly became a planning nightmare. Omaze marketed Larkfields in Blakeney, but it emerged a swimming pool, summer house, tennis court and a 4-bay garage were built without permission. This morning, the local council had to decide whether to grant permission retrospectively. The parish council said they shouldn't.
The development committee is invited to reject the application, in particular to send a clear message that planning processes must be adhered to. Simply ignoring the proper process is not acceptable.
Larkfields is set back over there behind 2 hedges. Very little of it can be seen from either the road or from the coastal part here. So it doesn't actually matter.
The planning restrictions are really tight, as I think they should be. And we did some work and, it was very clear on what we could and couldn't do. And we had our first application rejected just on the basis of, too big windows and they didn't want the light pollution. So, I think we have planning laws for a reason, don't we?
If they've actually built something which is outside of planning criteria, then that would encourage others to do likewise, because if you've got a very, I think the word soft planning authority who won't enforce their own rules, then I think that they're then asking for trouble.
So I think any house basically should have some sort of form of planning permission, shouldn't it?
Otherwise,
Wherever it is,
you could start, precedent for houses that can be seen.
The council has been set to approve the application, but the local district councillor asked for it to be debated by committee. She said the approved plans had considered the size and scale of the new build compared to an older house that had been demolished. And she said that the unauthorised buildings and facilities meant that it does not conform with planning policies. But the chairman of the committee and the majority of the councillors disagreed.
There are no policies should be rejected. Very thorough report from officers. It's very thorough in relation to our own policies and rejection.
And they said it was delighted with the decision, saying it's worked closely with the council. The winner of the raffle has indicated they'll sell up rather than move into this £6 million match. And May says now that can be done with good and marketable title. Andrew Turner, BBC Look East, Blakeney.
Time now for a quick roundup of some other news. At least 60 more former members of the Jesus Army in Northampton have come forward to seek damages against the organisation for abuse. Among them are 8 women known as domestic sisters who say they were forced to work unpaid. The trust winding up the affairs has apologised and says all allegations have been reported to police. A nurse from Peterborough has been struck off after being convicted of drug dealing. Toby Bunting, who's 52, was jailed for 30 months in August after being found with £11,000 worth of cocaine and ketamine. The nurse said Midwifery Council said he was unfit to practice. And this drone footage shows the progress on a £1 billion carriageway being built between Bedfordshire and Cambridgeshire. National Highways says the A428 Black Cat to Caxton Divot project is at its halfway point. The scheme is on track to finish by 2027.